Hi everyone, it's Rax, back in familiar territory. Diablo 3 has a new season that starts on Friday, so we've got to make a tier list. We spent all stream going through, and we're finally going to see if CruSADers can finally move up out of the 7th place spot and who will hold the top spot. Another thing is this might be the last tier list video that I ever make, because Blizzard's plan for Season 30 is to balance all the classes and all the builds. If they do that, then I'm not sure that the tier list makes much sense anymore. So if this was the last one, if this is the last one, it was been an absolute pleasure. And let's jump in and see where all the classes rank for next Friday. Let's quickly go over the methodology in case you're new here or just need a refresher. We're going to rank every class from 1st to 7th. 1st is the best rank you can get, and 7th is the worst. There are different categories we're going to use. Speed is their ability to farm like T16 rifts, bounties, and the low-level GRs, you know, the speedy stuff and the stuff that you do at the beginning of the season. Solo push, pretty self-explanatory, pushing the leaderboards as solo. It's not just how easily can you, it's not just how high you can go, it's also how easy it is to do it. For example, Zuni Dart Witch Doctor might be able to do incredible in a Miracle Rift, but in general, it's impossible to survive. Group DPS is how desirable they are to do damage in groups, probably not as important this time because it's solo self-found theme. Support, kind of same thing, how well they can support other classes. Because of the Paragon cap, Z-Monks might make a huge climb because they're good at keeping people alive. Casuals is how far you can go if you barely play at all, where you have like less than 5 hours a week to play. And there's a huge, tremendous emphasis on Hadrig's Gift, the starter set, because that's probably what you're going to play. And then finally, we take all that and make an overall summary. At the bottom, the golden rule is play whatever is fun to you. Don't let my tier list or any other source on the internet tell you how to have fun. Okay, so before we jump into the tier list, let's understand what exactly is going on with the season and where everything ranks. So we got 3 new things. We got solo self-found. We got the Visions of Enmity. God, that's a hard word to say. And the Paragon cap. Solo self-found is a brand new mode. You play by yourself. You got your own leaderboards. People have wanted this forever. I expect this to be very heavily contested. Visions of Enmity. When you're doing bounties, you can get these little portals. They have like different levels to them. They're kind of fun little portals, and they have tremendous rewards. They can give you Greater Rift keys. They can give you bounty mats. They can give you very, very good loot. So you will be doing these a lot. There's a Paragon cap, and it's set at Paragon 800. Paragon 800 is very low, even for a casual player. If you put together even a decent build and play 5 hours a week for a couple of weeks, you can reach Paragon 800, no problem. So the leaderboards will be very contested. There's not going to be any of these like Paragon 600 casual players versus these Paragon 5000 blasters. 800 is the cap, and then we're about to see who's the best players there and who fishes the most. So for the changes to the classes, Barb's got nothing, Monk's got nothing, but remember we also lost the Altar, which is coming back in Season 30, by the way. The Altar will be back next season, and I think it will be a permanent addition. But the Paragon 800 cap and losing the Altar is going to hurt their best build a lot, which is going to impact the rankings. Wizards also got nothing. Crusaders, they buffed their Blessed Shield, but it doesn't seem very significant. But the Pony Lightning Satyr is back, which is really going to help them in speeds. Demon Hunter's God DH is finally easy to play. No more clicking multiple times a second. Instead, it's clicking once every 5 seconds, which is a million times easier. Necro's Rats Are Dead. That hurts like their group XP ranking, or does it? And I don't think many people are going to play groups anyways, and there's no love lost between losing rats for most players anyway, so that's a good change. And Witch Doctor's got the chicken build, and it's going to be turbocharged next season. It's going to be a great farming build very early on, so that's going to help Witch Doctors. Here we go. Coming in last is, the CruSADer. The CruSADer is getting better. The last 2 seasons, I believe, they had 7s in every category. They were literally the worst class in every single category, but the Pony Satyr is going to make it do better for speeds. One thing I need to say about the speed category in general is every class except for really Necro, every class has a great speed build. The Chicken Doc, the Pony Satyr, the Whirlwind Barb, the Ina Monk, and the God DH, all of them. They're all good. So the ranking of 5, it's whatever. It's maybe a little bit toward the bottom, but it's still going to be fantastic. In solo push, it's just not good news. There's no great build that's going to dominate. It looked like the highest clear on the PTR, I believe, was actually the Fist of the Heavens Pony CruSADer. I think it was either Heaven's Fury or Fist of the Heavens. CruSADers will do all right, but definitely toward the bottom there. Group PPS as a CruSADer is not a thing. They're last. Same thing with Support CruSADer. You never bring a Support CruSADer to anything. And for casuals, it's very bad news. The starter set is Invoker, which is Thorns. It's okay, like if you put it together, you'll do fine, but it's very particular on how you have to build it. For example, Thorns can't crit, so you have to understand really exactly how to surgically build it, and the output there is just not worth it, and you're going to have to build into something else completely, so it's just a very bad option. Put all that together, CruSADers are last again. I feel very bad. Like, CruSADers have been terrible forever, but I mean, it is what it is. Season 29 best builds. Heaven's Fury, Pony, which is like a Fist of the Heavens build, Bomb, and Blessed Hammer. Blessed Hammer got buffed, but it's not great. But if you want to play Blessed Hammer, I guess now's the time. Season 30 request, just CruSADers are really going to appreciate the next patch when they balance everything, because a lot of their sets could use a lot of help. Coming in sixth, we have the Witch Doctor. Now, the Witch Doctor got their chicken build, which is going to be very, very fast, and it's going to be good for speeds, but it's very hard to say that it's going to beat any of the top three. It's definitely not better than the God DH. It's certainly not better than the Ina Monk. And it's really only a question of, can the Witch Doctor beat the Infinite Teleport Meteor Wizard with the Aether Walker and the Cosmic Strand, I believe. But the thing about the Wizard is the Wizard never gets stopped or stuck on anything with a chicken, and they're always teleporting, which means you can just jump over stuff. So I think the Wizard still wins. But the Chicken Witch Doctor is a godly speed build, so don't let that fool you. Solo push, they're only moving up because Monk is going way down, which we'll explain in a little bit. But Witch Doctor has some decent options for pushing, like the Arashir Witch Doctor with the spiders. It's pretty good. In group DPS, they're going to be great. They're pretty good trash clearers, whether you want to do something like Spirit Barrage. And they're also one of the best RGKs in the game with Arashir. They're just going to slaughter the bosses with spiders. So Witch Doctors are valuable in group play. For supports, they're moving down just because monks are coming up. Support Witch Doctor was godly early in Diablo 3. It's just not really a thing anymore. For casuals, I'd have to say that they're the worst. Their set, I would say, is even worse than the CruSADer set, because you're going to get Jade. Jade is just not a great farming build, and has a very unique playstyle that casuals are probably not going to pick up on right away, so it's not the best thing to start with whatsoever. If it had started with Arashir, then it would get a way higher ranking. But anyway, put all that together, we have them in sixth. Their best builds are Spirit Barrage, Arashir, and Chicken. And then the Season 30 request, it's kind of like a fantasy thing. Witch Doctors are supposed to be the pet class in Diablo 3. But when I think of pets in the game, all the other classes had better pets than the Witch Doctor. For example, the Ina allies and other things like the Necromages. So Witch Doctors are supposed to be the pet class. When are we going to make that happen? Hopefully in Season 30. Coming in fifth, we have the Monk. And the Monk is kind of in the same spot that it has been, just a little bit worse, because in speeds, it absolutely dominates. So we have him in second for speeds. I think if you build the Ina Raymond ally monk, I think that's actually the best build in the game, as far as T16 and bounties and maybe low-level GR is just going to destroy everything. But the problem is that requires a little bit of skill, and it requires a decent amount of gear to put together, and you got to really know what you're doing. I think in the general masses, people will do better with the God DH. You just literally do nothing and almost the same output. So that's why I have monks in second for speeds, but make no mistake, they can absolutely blaze and do everything in the game. In solo push, maybe this is a little bit too harsh, but I think monk might be last. And the reason why is the monks have like one of the absolute best builds for pushing in the game, which is LOD Wave of Light. But everybody who pushes LOD Wave of Light pushes it with multiple thousands of Paragon, not just for the damage, but really to stay alive. At Paragon 800, playing LOD Wave of Light is brutal. And LOD Wave of Light is by far the monk's best solo pushing build. So if you just crucify their best build with I don't even know what's second best. Would it be POJ Tempest Rush or Sun Wuku Tempest Rush, something like that? You're going to fall tremendously. I think they might fall last. Could be wrong there. Maybe it's not that far. And maybe someone will pull the God Rift and do something incredible with LOD Wave of Light. But in general, I think it's going to be an absolute disaster to play at only Paragon 800. In group DPS, monk DPSing is not a thing. What would you even play? Maybe LOD Wave of Light. Maybe it works in groups, but usually you get some defense from the bar, but usually you just pump your damage really high. So you need like a support monk to keep you alive or something. It's just not worth it, and they can't do anywhere near the damage of a Necro. Probably can't do a damage of double Wizard either. Supports, they're going way up. The Z-Monk used to be a thing of the past. Z-Monk was almost always used because the Z-Monk could keep everybody alive. Then it fell very out of fashion. Players got better, the builds got better, the metas got better, and they say, we don't need anybody to keep us alive. We just go full damage and we just win that way. Well, with everybody capped at Paragon 800, now it's not going to be quite as fun. Now you're going to be getting hit like a truck, and the Z-Monk keeping everybody alive may sneak its way back in there and make a big difference. For casuals, they'll do pretty well. They start with Sun Wuku, which is one of their best sets. The problem with Sun Wuku is you have to find a lot of things to make it work. You have to find a Wan Kim Lao, you have to find a balance, you have to find a Vengeful Wind, and you have to find a Caesar's Memento. I'm like checking my bank here for all the builds. I think those are the 4 things that you need. The bracers, the double fist weapons, and then the Daibo and the cube. That's a lot to find. It's not that easy. So when you do put it together, you will be pumping, but it's going to take you a bit to get rolling there. Put all that together, we have monks in 5th. Their best builds are LOD Wave of Light, probably still, but good luck playing that. Ina Ally, Patterns of Justice, and Sun Wuku. The Season 30 request, we've been asking for this for a long time, is to fix the pet AI. That's going to impact things like LOD Wave of Light and also Ina. Coming in 4th, we have my favorite class, the Barbarian. Barbarians are just kind of pretty good at everything. They're just chilling. For speeds, they're totally fine. You can put on Whirlwind and hold right click and spin around. Are they the fastest? No, but it'll absolutely get the job done, no problem. In solo push, they have Raykor. Raykor is just super strong. So if you put it together, you learn how to play it properly, you're going to get more output out of the Barb than out of the other classes. Barb is going to be one of the classes that could potentially clear GR 150 next season. The other two being Wizard and Necro. The other classes are going to struggle. Maybe some godly players, some godly clears will get it done, but it's going to be tough for the other classes. Group DPS, Barb is, I don't know, it's not a thing. How would you DPS? I guess it's Raykor, but maybe LOD Hoda, but that's not a thing. In supports, I think they're just by far the best. There's always a conversation about who's better, Barbarian or Demon Hunter at supporting. I think this season, without a doubt, it's just Barbarian. Because Barbarian gives more survivability, and the Barbarian is the one manipulating the map, so you can actually, pull things together and nuke it down with area damage. The positioning is not only important for doing damage, but it's also important for staying alive. So they're going to put the monsters somewhere where they won't kill you, and they're going to keep you alive. And they were already the best even without those two things being needed. So I think Barbarians just rule in group play, but it doesn't really matter too much this season because I don't think anybody's going to play groups, or a lot fewer anyway, let's say. Casuals, they'll do okay. It's not great news. You get Might of the Earth. Might of the Earth, you jump around and put earthquakes everywhere. You're going to want to spec out of that real quick and go probably into Whirlwind for farming and then probably into Raykor for your final form there. So overall, they're kind of mid. They're all right. They're really good in group play, but again, it's the solo self-found season. Their best builds are Whirlwind, Hoda, Frenzy, Raykor, and Support Barb. Season 30 request, been asking for this for a long time. Immortal Kings just blows, and it shouldn't. It's like the best set in Diablo 2, right, for Barbarians. When is that going to be good? Hopefully next season. Coming in third, we have the Necromancer. Now, the Necromancer is going to do just fine in about everything. The Necromancers have arguably the best solo pushing build. It's either the Necro or Tal Rasha. But I have to put Necro in second rather than first because Tal Rasha is just very, very easy. You can play Comet Meteor, and then you can get an extra skill on your bar, which you can use to pick up something like Diamond Skin, which is going to keep you alive at Paragon 800. It's going to have no problem clearing the rift, and then the Talrasha Meteor Wizard can kill the boss. The Necromancer is going to crush the rift easily. You can get the boss no problem, and then you have to kill the boss. If you don't spawn a boss with ads like Binder or Hamlin or something, or know some tricky shenanigans with some pylons which casuals will not understand, you are not going to kill the boss. Just not going to kill him. So that's why I have them second for solo pushing. Speeds is just bad news. Necros, you can still play LOD mages even though they nerfed, they nerfed Haunted Vision so that doesn't duplicate, so you summon less mages. You can still get the job done. You can also go with something with Anarius like Death Nova and with the Bloodtide Blade in the cube. Play Trag'Oul, Death Nova. It's going to be fine, but it's definitely the slowest. So just last place for Necros. Once Crusaders got the pony, then we knew it was bad news for them. For support, they're falling because I think the Z-Monk is going to have a little bit more value because the Z-Monk can fit in 2s, fit in 3s, fit in 4s, and the Z-Necro, it's kind of hard to say where it would fit in because you have to have a Barb, and then the next damage support is Demon Hunter, which is better than Necro. So not exactly sure how you're going to use this, especially since rats are dead. Group DPS, they're still by far the best. Remember when we said earlier it's going to hurt them and to lose rats for group DPS because they were the entire DPS in the meta? They're still the best DPS. They're still the trash clearer with Death Nova, and they're still the RGK with Rathma. They're still the best, so didn't actually fall anywhere there. That's just how strong Necros are. For casuals, you're going to get Anarius, and Anarius is simple. It's just like a 10,000% multiplier. So you take 10,000% multiplier and put Death Nova on your bar, and it will be fine. So it'll be all right. Then you can build into Death Nova, and that will be incredibly strong. You won't be the fastest class out there, but you'll be able to get the job done. Overall, that puts Necro in third. Rathma, Death Nova, and Z-Nec are their best builds. Next season, been asking for this for a long time, still don't have it. We need to buff Pestilence. Coming in second and dropping from first place last season, we have the Demon Hunter. And Demon Hunter is still absolutely rule. Really, the only place that they're weak is in solo pushing. So Demon Hunters are going to start with Shadow Mantle, which is nowhere near as good. Remember the Goblin Blaster 9000 and the Brain Dead build from a few seasons ago? Those were some favorite ones, where we had the Shadow set, but Strafe would throw our Impales. Well, we don't have that anymore. They should really bring that back. That would be a lot of fun. But you do start with the Shadow set, and the Shadow set is so nice because you only need two things. You need the Carlace Point, which you can craft for free by upgrading daggers. It's a 50% chance. And you need, I believe it's the Holy Point Shot Quiver. So all you're gambling for is one thing. Once you get it, you're going to be pumping. So that's fantastic news for Demon Hunters. For speeds, I think they're the best. God DH already was way up there with Ina. I think Ina is actually slightly better, but God DH is infinitely easier to play and way more brain dead. So I put it above. You put together the God DH, it's going to shred everything, especially since you're only clicking once every 5 seconds. Solo push is rough for a Demon Hunter. Probably going to have to play an Italia Spike Trap, something like that, or Marauder. Marauder is going to be very squishy. You're going to be hiding behind your turrets 20 screens back, or you're going to be laying the Spike Traps. But the Spike Trap has proved to be quite powerful. You can push with God DH, but you're not going to get the kind of output, but it will still be fun, and there's a God DH separate board, so that will be no problem. In group DPS, they're very good RGK. They can RGK with Impale. You could try group DPSing with Natalia, but I don't really believe in that. Supports, they're fantastic. They just magnify your damage. They're right up there with Barb. Not quite as good as Barb, but definitely second best. Support Demon Hunter will absolutely be played. Probably be a part of just about every top clear in 4s next season. Casuals, we talked about this. You get Shadow's Mantle. That's pretty strong. You only have to get one thing, the Holy Point Shot. You build into God DH, you're going to be pumping. Overall, puts them in second place. Their best builds are God DH, Spike Trap, Marauder, and the Support DH. Season 30, got to find a way to make Rapid Fire viable in the game. And finally, the top dog for what might be the last tier list I ever make for Diablo 3 is Wizards. Wizards rule at everything. They just dominate everything. For speeds, you put together your little Aether Walker and Cosmic Strand. I think those are the two items. You have infinite teleports. You're just teleporting around and just deleting everything when you auto throw meteors as you move through. The whole rift dies instantly. Solo pushing, I think they're the best. Talrasha is one of the absolute best builds. I think they buffed the 4-piece a season or two ago, which means they will actually be able to survive in the higher tiers at 800. You have two choices, but you could go Comet. Comet is very easy to play, and it gives you another skill on your bar, which will let you take something like Diamond Skin, which will let you stay alive. Again, it's all about surviving, and they will have the damage. It's also one of the only builds that's really good in the Rift and really good on the boss. And it's not very hard to play, so it's super casual friendly. In group DPS, same thing. The meteors will be incredible, especially when paired with another wizard. Wizard, and then 2 supports is incredible. Wizards aren't good at literally supporting, but they'll support you by doing all the damage and clearing the whole rift. That should count, right? But a support wizard is not a thing and hasn't been a thing for a long time. For casuals, they're the best, not only for all those nice things that I said, but they also have the best starter set, Firebirds. Firebirds is pretty damn good, and Firebirds is tanky, and Firebirds gives you infinite teleports from the beginning. I mean, like, you hold Disintegrate, and you teleport forward, and you cast Explosive Blast, and everything dies. I mean, it's just a win across the board. Put all that together, I don't think there's any doubting it. Wizards are the best in Season 29. Their best builds are Hydra, Talrasha, and Firebirds. Been asking for this for a long time. It's been a beloved build for Wizards. We need to revisit Chantotos and make it fantastic again in Season 30. Here's the screen showing all the rankings, and I've been thinking of you guys. I hid my webcam so you could see the overall ranking. That's how much I'm thinking of you. Go ahead and pause the video and take a screenshot, or just hang out for a bit if you'd like to see how everything moved up and down. And here's a screen that shows you what I think are going to be the best builds by each category. Not 1000% sure on solo XP. We'll have to see how that plays out, and I know that's an important one. Took my best guess there. And finally, one more slide. Here is the best builds by class for the different categories that we ranked them on earlier. That's it, everyone. That's the Diablo 3 Season 29 class tier list. Love to hear down below what you thought I got right and what I messed up horribly. I have to say, if this is the last class tier list that I ever make for this game, the last major coverage of this game, it's been an absolute pleasure. Without this game and without you guys, I wouldn't be a content creator. I started my YouTube with 0 subscribers and my Twitch with 0 followers. And I don't know how many we have right now. I think we almost have 250,000 subs in 4.5 years of blasting this game. It's been an absolute pleasure. And you guys have shared a lot of important memories with me over the years. So thank you for everything, guys. And I'll see you in Season 29. And let's blast and let's see who's the best person in solo self-found mode. It's going to be great. Thank you.